Hello, Gun Nation. You guys crack me up, man. Y'all are funny. Uh, so I'm a gypsy. That's what Dennis is saying. I'm a gypsy. All right. Well, we'll play that game here in just a second. I'll give y'all some hints. I am not home. So, Mike, how you lose. But, you know. All right. Here we go. Let's see. We got Rusty Taylor in the house. We got Pistol Pete in the house. Chessboard. Dennis Buckner. Mike High. Dirt Track. Hello. Pew pew boom boom. Yes, I agree. Fun, fun, fun. All right. So Pistol Pete, he wants, and I think that would be fun. Y'all could guess what city I'm in. We won't wear it out though. I don't want y'all to be guessing all night. And then Dennis chimes in saying I'm a gypsy, but Pistol Pete saying Tulsa. Hello, Trigger Bar. How are you doing? Hello, Brian. Good to see you guys. Let's put it this way. I am in a border town. So it's on the border of something. So I recognize Rich B says I recognize those hotel rooms anytime. Yeah, they're all some of them kind of have the same setup. Some of them are totally different. Even between brands, it's kind of weird. Hello, Lakeview Outdoors, A Dubs. Hope y'all are all doing well. Milkman's in the house. So I'm in a border town. Let's just say that. But you know, I'm not in Mexico. And I do have a funny convenience story, a convenience store story. I think Floridian always likes to hear those if he's in here. God dang, Rusty, you are good. Right off the bat. Right off the bat, Rusty nails it. Texarkana, Texas, brother. That is where I am, Rusty. So bing, bing, bing. Rusty Taylor, RT's in the house, and he wins the game. Open and shut. So that was good, man. That was really good. I didn't even have to give you. Well, Brian was right there, so he was a couple of times down. Let's see. Well, actually, Brian and Rusty both put it in at 7:01. So I don't know. Y'all have to flip for that. But yes, I am in Texarkana. I was actually in Arkansas this week, or the first of this week. I'm in Texarkana tonight. Be working this area tomorrow, and then heading back home. And then Friday, I've got to make a run to go pick up a truck. Um, so I'll be doing that. Let's see here. Lakeview Outdoors is in the house. CZ Shadow 2, Super CZ fan, or CZ Super fan. That's a name. When did you change all that? I don't remember you changing that. Hello, William Bader. How are you? I figured when I said border town, that would kind of give it away because usually people always go to Texarkana. So Texas, Arkansas, of course. But yeah, I was at Casey's. If y'all have ever been to Arkansas, they have a they have a big chain of convenience stores called Casey's, and I was getting some waters and all that other stuff today, and there was a guy in front of me that had an Uncle Mike's holster and a 1911. From the grips, it looked like a Ruger SR 1911. That's what it looked like. Um, but I couldn't get the side view. I was kind of looking at the back, and it looked like a Ruger SR 1911, but had it in Uncle Mike's holster. So, and I mean, honestly, it was just there. I could have just reached over and just took it right off of him. It would have been so easy. Um, would have taken that quick. I would have been done. So, they got to hello Floridian. I was just telling a story. I think you like to hear the convenience stories, but it was a Casey's in Arkansas, and the good old Uncle Mike's. And as he got to the counter, I was standing farther back from him. As he got to the counter, he kind of turned sideways and, said hi, and I said hi and all that stuff. So he's a nice guy, but you just, if you want to keep your shit, you need the proper thing to keep your shit. I'm not, and I don't, people who open carry, that's completely cool. Trust me, do whatever you want to do. But, in that situation, it just kind of makes you a target. Because, like I said, if I would have been a bad guy, I could have had that gun in 2 seconds. So just something to think about. Like I said, I'm not faulting anybody. He probably looked like, I don't know, he's about, I would guess between 27 and 34, somewhere around there. That would be my guess. But, there you go. IBG, what's up, man? Yep, in another hotel. When you absolutely have to FUD. Well, Ruger makes some good stuff. I mean, but and the SR11, I think back in the day, was a pretty popular 1911. Shadow 2 Compact. I would probably check A&R Design. A&R Design. His name's Alex. He has a Shadow 2 Compact. He was one of the first ones to get one through CZ. He's worked with CZ for a long time. He makes holsters. He probably already has one available. So A&R Designs. I mean, he makes good stuff. So that's who I would. Yes, Rich B, he did have it cocked and locked. I saw the hammer back because I was looking right at the back of it, so it was cocked and locked. Big J, what's your favorite CZ P01 holster? Inside waistband or outside waistband? Inside waistband. I'm a big inside waistband guy. The P01 is a very small gun. I don't think that it would be a problem for 90% of people to carry it inside the waistband. Outside the waistband, I mean, this is just my opinion. And I've carried at the 12 o'clock, I've carried at the 3 o'clock, I've carried at the 4 o'clock or 4:30-ish. I've carried all the way around my body. I haven't carried left hand, where you're doing cross draw. I haven't done that. I did have a holster for it to where I could carry 2 guns at one time, but I would just draw it with my left hand if I had to. I'm a big proponent in appendix, and this is the reasoning why. I think I've talked about it before, but when it's on your 3 o'clock and you're turning, you're doing everything, someone could walk into you and bump it and then go, oh my gosh, you have a gun. They'll knock their elbow on it. You can hit it on the car door. You can hit it when you're turning. You can just bump it on things, and it's not a big deal. But if it's something metal, it's going to go dong, if you hit the top part of it. Not a big deal. You could nick your gun up, but it's a tool. At 12 o'clock, nobody's going to really come up into your pelvic area unless you want them to. So, and I think that you have more control, especially like say you're in your car. If you have to draw from the 3 o'clock, you've got your seatbelt in the way, it still can be done. 4:30, if you're sitting in your car, you're done. You can't get to it. You can't take your seatbelt off and get to it super quick enough. The appendix, you've always got it just right here. You kind of have it more in control, I feel. And some people say they can't carry appendix. I get it. I understand. It just works for me. And I'm not a little guy. I've got a gut, the tactical muffin top. I am taller than most people, but I carry 5-inch plus guns. Some people said that they tried it, can't do it. I get it. But I will say this on the holster, On the holster, if you will have a little bit more length, even if you have a short gun like a 365 or whatever, if you have a little longer holster, say if I'm carrying my P07, I had this made so it would fit the P10F. So this exact holster will fit my P10F. I did it for that reason because, of course, I have a comp, but the longer the holster, the more pelvic contact you have. So you don't get a lot of tilt outward. It pushes on your pelvic area, your pelvic bone, and pushes it back into your body. So always get a little bit longer holster. Matter of fact, if you buy a Harry's holster, his are already a little bit longer. He doesn't do the little tiny short ones to fit the little tiny guns perfectly because you don't get very much pelvic contact, and it will tilt outward. You can put a wedge on it to kind of pull it back in, but a lot of people who have really small guns and really small holsters, they don't like it and they're uncomfortable. When you have a longer gun, more guns going down your pants, and it actually doesn't really have that pelvic tilt. So if that helps. But I'm buffering. Let's see here. Yes, Floridian, I could write a book on the convenience stores for sure. I didn't know I was buffering. Hopefully it's not doing it anymore. Let me know if it is. P10S, IBG is way too small. Honestly, I mean, if you can carry a P10S, you can carry a P10C. I would much rather have the P10C. Now you can have a P10S and then put an extension on it, but what's the point of that? You know, you're already to a P10C. Me personally, I wouldn't go below a P10C, and on my P10C, I have +2 extensions because I need it for the length for my pinky. Most people probably wouldn't. Some people say that the P10C is a little bit bigger, like than a Glock 19. But as far as the width and stuff, they're pretty much the same. So I'd say get the C. Hello, Lynn Holt. How are you? I appreciate that email that you sent me the other day. You're okay on my end? Okay. Hello, reloading from the hot pot. I appreciate you. You all smash that thumbs up. I hope you're doing well, sir. Maybe he just had a bad connection. You know, that happens to us all sometimes. You know, you never know who is playing video games next door. Also, a little earlier, I guess there's a guy who can't hear real well, probably across the hall, talking on his cell phone and literally yelling. And he was laughing, but maybe he's hard of hearing or something. But I was like, holy crap, I hope that didn't continue, but it hasn't. So maybe he was just having a good old time with his buddies or something. Let's see here. Huey is saying, Big Johnson, Holosun PID, any thoughts? Have you tested it yet? And updated thoughts on Streamlight Wedge XT? No, I have not tested the Holosun PID. It does fit in a lot of holsters. It fits in the TLR1 holster, I believe. I think it just did buffer. I can see my head. There it is. I think it did buffer. Just a second. Sorry about that. I have not tested the Holosun PID myself. I've seen it. I've played with it. Texas Gun Experience has it. I mean, I don't think it's a really, really bad option. It's just not proven out long enough yet. Not saying it's bad. I would tend to stay with the Streamlight TLR1 HL or the Surefire personally. It's probably not a lot more money for either one of those. Oh, well, for the Streamlight, or excuse me, the Surefire it's going to be, but not for the Streamlight. And the Streamlight, those things take a hell of a lot of abuse. And the runtime is actually longer because if you have to keep it on constantly, it's going to go down fairly quick from what I heard on the Holosuns, where the Streamlight still stays engaged, such as the Surefire does as well. But eventually they're all going to drop off in lumens just from, you know, getting warm and kicking down. But and then the Streamlight Wedge XT is still doing great. No problems with it at all. So still like it a lot. Just, and this is my opinion, just because of my hand size, between the full size wedge and the wedge XT. I like them both, don't get me wrong, but just for the hand size, I kind of almost like the bigger wedge, but the wedge XT fits great in the pocket. So does the big wedge for me. But I think 90% of people are probably going to like the wedge XT the best because it does have the rear, light switch on the back, which is definitely a plus. I wish they would come out with the full size wedge with the button on the end too, just for another option. Here we go. Miss Hotshot has the PID and loves it. Awesome. Yeah, I just don't personally have an experience with it, so I don't want to, I don't want to speak out my ass, so to say. Y'all know how I am. Pistol Pete, I think there might have been a little bit of that because if it's a guy I'm thinking about, he was on a work crew, and I think it's that guy. The booze was the talking. Sometimes that happens. But I tend to kind of stay with Surefire Streamlights until other ones are proven out. Small lights. The 7A is still my favorite for the small compact lights. I have 4 of them, and I got them when they first came out, if y'all remember, way back when. Streamlight sent me one. I tested the hell out of it, beat it on tables. I mean, I was banging it on the table while I was shooting, banging it on the table while I was shooting. I shot it on a 45. Rapid shots. I shot at 9mm, all that stuff. Matter of fact, I even clipped it on a 300 blackout, and I clipped it. I got a video of it clipped on the TLR 7A. It's clipped on my 308, and I'm rapid firing just to see if I could mess it up, and I couldn't mess it up. So I've never had any problems with them. Rich B say, have a 1911 and 45, thinking of getting another, but either in 9mm or 10mm. Thoughts, if any? If you already have a bunch of 9mm, you might want to get a 10mm. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 10mm. It just depends on, if you're going to shoot it a lot, the 10mm ammo is just more expensive. But I mean, I've shot a 10mm 45. They're cool. I shot the, what is it called? The Tanfo Hunter. It wasn't my gun. I think it was the Tanfo Hunter, the 6-inch barrel. Didn't have an optic on it. Um, 38 Super is awesome, but man, finding ammo for it, that's where you're going to have a problem. $1,200 budget. $1,200 budget. That could be a little tight for finding something. If it were me, I would probably save up a little bit more and get a Tanfo. I would, rather than just settling for something. Just my opinion. Yeah, Dan Wesson is awesome. I don't think you're going to get Dan Wesson for $1,200 though. Yeah, used you might be able to find something. Brian, anyone tried the Gideon red dots yet? Watched a review of their totally enclosed and appeared to be a good dot. Chris from the 740, he's tried a bunch of them and really likes them. I personally don't have any experience with them. So again, I don't want to speak out of my butt. So, I trust Chris. So if there was a problem with it, he would let us know. And so far, he probably hasn't had any issues with it. Tanfo makes some really, really nice pistols. I shot the Tanfo Unlimited 10mm. I think it was the Unlimited or Limited as well. I forgot about that one. It was kind of more of the race setup. Again, it wasn't my gun, but it was nice. Very nice. And, it was kind of a go fast 10mm. It's just like I said, the ammo, if you're having so much fun with it, and also the Tanfo, this one was a double stack 10 millimeter. So it definitely, we were throwing some ammo. So what's funny is I still have like 300 plus rounds of 10 millimeter, and I don't even own a 10 millimeter. I haven't owned one in a long time. But I tend to have I keep a lot of ammo for even guns I don't own anymore, or calibers I don't own anymore. I even have some 410 shotgun shells, and I don't have a 410. I've never had a 410. I don't even know why I bought 410 ammo. Probably just to have it in case I ever needed it for something. Let's see here. And the question for the chat was, what do you want to see? You know, I've had some people reach out to me in the chat or leave comments, and then I've had people actually email me. You know, my email was posted, so if you know you've got some ideas later on, you can email me as well. But you know, what do y'all want to see? Like I said, I've got quite a bit of older guns that I'm going to be going back through and giving opinions on them. You know, with like round counts and stuff like that, because I've got books on all of them. You know, kind of updates. You know, do I still like them? Do I not like them? Do y'all want to see stuff like that? I thought it might be kind of interesting. A lot of people, I was even going to talk about my very first pistol that I've ever bought. I still own it. My very, very first pistol I've ever had in my entire life that was mine. I still own it. The original owner. So I thought about revisiting it as well. But you know, just wanted to get y'all's opinion on what y'all might want to see. Maybe more AR content, you know, AR-10 content, AR-15 content, shotgun content. You know, what are y'all wanting to see? Because y'all make all this happen. It's not me. I know, Pistol Pete. I pretty much decided I'm probably not going to get the Shadow 2 compact or the DWX compact. I just with the size, you know, I talked to Humble after he shot the Shadow 2 compact just to get, you know, just to get an idea of the size because I haven't seen one yet in person. And he was telling me it's, you know, pretty much the P01. And if y'all remember, I mean, I had a P01. I really like the P01 a lot. It's a great gun. It's just too small. So I sold mine to a subscriber quite a long time ago. Great gun, don't get me wrong. I know the Shadow 2 is going to be compact's going to be fantastic too. I don't know if it's going to work for me. I'm not saying I can put my hands on it and be like, hey, I like it, you know, it's going to work, blah, blah, blah. But for right now, I'm just not going to order anything until I can put my hands on it. But let's see here. Mr. Pete says, yeah, go through some older ones that have already been on the channel for a second look. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking too. So I've had a lot of people, hey, you know, I know you have this gun. What do you think about it? Blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of why I was thinking about going back through some of them. Yeah, I think the Shadow 2 Compact is an awesome gun. I think they knocked it out of the park. Rock Chalk's pistol, red dot shooting content. Well, pretty much every pistol I'm shooting dominantly has a dot on it. But I have some older ones that I had dots put on them also. So, you know, I could even break out some of those. Brian is saying, in my opinion, I don't care for your shooting videos because of the noise in indoor range. I agree. I mean, it is loud. You know, it's just, I'm very limited on time. I'm not making excuses, but ETTS is about, from where I live, it's about an hour and 15 minutes one way. Not saying that's impossible to do, you know, but just trying to, especially now with my dad's situation, just trying to kind of be a little more, you know, especially on the weekends, trying to be a little more local, and it is easier to get to the indoor range. Yeah, I agree with that, Pistol Pete. It's just I don't know what the DWX full size would do that the full size 2011 wouldn't do. You know, y'all know that I love CZ, but then again, I've got the Shadow 2s. I've got two of those. So, and those are double action, single action. I get it. But, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I just want to put my hands on some of them and find out. Chessboard, he's asking, Big Johnson, have you ever experienced with barrel harmonics on a rifle? I haven't experimented with it. Like, I'm not a long range guy. I know there's tons of content out there that do that. I guess I could say this. You can have some issues on your AR-15s and your AR-10s if you mount flashlights and things like that, depending on where the screws are, if they're touching the barrel. Way back in the day, I put a light on through the handguard and didn't realize it, but the screws were a little bit longer, so when the barrel would whip, it would actually hit the screw. And I was like, why is this thing not accurate? You know, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, it was accurate before I put the damn flashlight on it. So what's going on? So I really started looking at it, and I stood to the side. It was anchored down, pulled the trigger, and I mean, you could just watch it dip a little bit, and it was actually tapping that screw. And on where the screw was, you could see a little tap, little indentation, not major indentation, but just a little scratch where that screw was. So because of the whip of the barrel. Anyway, I took the screws, ground them down, problem fixed. So now every flashlight, everything I put on a handguard, whether it be a grip stop or hand stop or any of that, I always check the screws to make sure they're definitely far away from the barrel. So, but as far as getting into hardcore long distance harmonics and tuning barrels, that's not my game. Bald, are you talking about the new Grand Power full size optic ready gun? Is that the one you're talking about? Because I know it, the Excalibur optic ready or carry optic, or is it a whole new gun, whole different type of gun? But hello, Bald and Curious. Oh, you went to Slovakia. Oh, that's cool. I saw the picture. That's awesome. But I didn't know that's where you were. Oh, a whole new animal from Grand Power. That's awesome. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that. Sure, we will eventually. Is it going to come to the States, Bald? Yeah, Brian, I saw that picture of him standing beside his brother. I'm just joking. You hear about the CZ 600 Trail and 300 Blackout? Yes, I did. I think it's really cool. It is a 16-inch barrel, but that's going to be legal for everybody to own. I just wish they would have went with a little longer handguard because there's like that much barrel sticking out, just bare barrel. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I just wish they would have went with a little longer handguard. Ooh, Dirt Track said, got lucky and bought a new CZ Bren 2. Shot 100 rounds through it yesterday. Sweet shooter. That's awesome, man. What caliber did you get it in? Well, I'm sure it's probably 5.56, but I haven't seen a 308 in the States. Alex has one, but I haven't seen anybody else that has one. But or maybe it's 7.62 by 39, maybe. Bald is saying, should be introduced first quarter of 2024. God knows when it's going to be in the States, but I'm guessing they might introduce it at SHOT Show in 2024. Yeah, that is the bad thing about Grand Power is getting stuff over here. The also, I wanted to ask y'all, what do y'all think about the new Sig? And I kind of hinted that something was coming for Sig on last week's chat, but I really couldn't say what it was. Um, but what do y'all think about the new 365 Sig AXG Legion? Are y'all impressed with it? The new aluminum frame, CZ P365. You know, you've heard Icarus Precision has all their really cool grips and stuff like that, but Sig, introduced the new aluminum grip for it. I figured, or I kind of thought it should have came out way back when. They're definitely late to the party. Um, and looking at the grip, I think the Icarus looks better and a little more girthy, in my opinion. But what do y'all think? Um, it is high dollar. You're exactly right, Brian. It's not cheap. That price is that price is expensive. But anytime they introduce something new, it's got to die down. Yeah, I did see Humble's review. Yeah, I mean, he did a good job on the review. I've only put my hands on. I can't remember the Icarus grip. It was one of the shorter ones. I think it was one of the first ones that came out. I put my hands on the gun. It was a buddy of mine's, and he had already finished at the range, and he's like, "Hey, check this out." And so I put my hand on it, but I didn't get to shoot it, so I don't know. It was the shorter version. I guess maybe the first one they came out with, and it felt pretty good, but it was just too small for me. But I think a lot of people liked it. Well, there you go. Donate for chances to win 10 millimeter 1911. Yeah, for the money, that SIG is overpriced, just like the Spectre Comp 365. I think a lot of them are kind of overpriced. My buddy has an Icarus on a macro, but I haven't shot it yet. Yeah. Huh. Oops. I'm just clicking on. Battlehawk Armory is doing a test run, a single action Prodigy customized by Knothawk, $4.99 or 49.99. I hear you, IBG. Sig has some nice hammered fire. For some reason, I've lost interest in Sig though. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I know a lot of people love them. I, uh, I've kind of taken a back seat to them. Well, y'all know I've had two major issues with Sig, and they don't like me. I guess I'm on their do not fix list or whatever the hell you want to call it. So they and I don't get along real well. We don't play nicely together in the sandbox. So I'm definitely done with them. The only SIG I own now is that SIG P322, and so far it's been a good 22. But as far as buying anything else, it just doesn't do anything for me. Also, I grabbed something today, and I'll just go ahead and tell the family members what it is. Y'all know that I have the Steiner MPS, dot for the P10F, and I got the earlier edition. I didn't know it at the time, but Texas Gun Experience had it. I bought it out of the case. Come to find out, it was one of the earlier ones where it does the auto shutoff, and you can't manually make it stay on. The newer ones you can omit that, and the dot will stay on constantly. My dot stays on for, I believe, 10 hours. And then all you have to do is just tap the button and it resets it for another 10 hours. Which honestly, and I've carried it. A lot of people go, "Holy crap, you carried that?" Yep, I carried it. Because what I did is I would, you know, in the morning take it out of the holster or even leave it in the holster, hold it up, tap the button, turn it on, make sure it's good, it's the brightness I want it, carry it. And then maybe halfway throughout the day, I'm sitting in the car looking straight down at it, tap the button again, up or down, and that will start the clock over again. So, I've done it that way. It does have the smaller battery, not the Aimpoint P2 battery. It has the smaller battery. The newer ones, you can turn them on or you can omit it. You can hold it down or do something for 10 seconds and it'll flash and it'll just stay on constantly, like your Aimpoint P2. However, it doesn't have as long of a battery life. Some people say it's 30,000 hours. I've heard people say it lasted 2 weeks, like the old Aimpoint, which sucked. So I don't know. However, I did order a new Steiner MPS in FDE. I got a email today from Primary Arms, and and if you need one, I think it's a 1-day sale only, but they were $379, and for that dot, it's pretty unbelievable. The window is bigger than the Aimpoint P2. It's super clear. It works very well with my astigmatisms. So I went ahead and grabbed another one. If anything, I can get it on. I can even get a Aimpoint mount for PDW or something like that, or I could put it on another gun. I'm just trying to figure out which one I might want to put it on. So if y'all have any ideas, let me know. But so far, I just went ahead and grabbed another one today. And yes, I do love the Shake Awake, and I have gotten I've gotten spoiled with it too, Pistol Pete. Yep, I've done the same thing, Pistol Pete. I've had mine just sitting there, and I've reached over and tried to grab it. I mean, I've even had it on the stand, on my lock grip stand, just sitting there, not touching it. I look down, and it's off, and I won't bump the desk or anything. And I mean, the second I just even it seems like come close to the gun, I'm just looking at it and it's already on. I'm like, damn it, I can't beat it. So I've tried and it doesn't work. So they do last forever. And if you remember, I did a test on my original 507C. I've got multiples of the ones you put the battery in the bottom from the first OG ones. I had one that I just never changed the battery in it on purpose. And I mean, that thing was and I had shot it a lot. I had done stuff with it. Now, granted, it had sat in the safe a long time too, but I think it was 3 or 4 years and I would still touch it and the damn thing would light up. And that was the original battery. And I'm like, holy crap. So, I mean, they definitely work. But yeah, I agree. I agree with that, A-Dubs. That's kind of what I thought. Oh, that was not Hollow Sun. That was crap. EOTech. Oh yeah, you said that. Okay. Yeah, EOTech. Yeah, and I think they messed up with the Delta Point Pro footprint as well. But and I don't really see a lot of people talking about that one. Here and there, they'll talk about it. They did come out with an FDE version of the EFLX or whatever, and I've seen it. It actually looks pretty good. So I did grab that one today. Lynn Holt says, I haven't replaced my battery since install in 2019. Yeah, I mean, they do last a long time. Now, I will, like the ones that I treat like crap and really beat up and stuff, I do go through on my birthday and change a ton of them. But there's some that I don't shoot as much and I have in a different area in one of the other safes. And those are the ones that I kind of do let go a really, really long time. And in the books that I have, they're similar. Well, some of them are like this. They're those little leather books, and some of them are just spiral notebooks. But I do have the date that I changed it last, so with the serial number on it, so I know which is which, because I have doubles of a bunch of guns. So I don't want to get them mixed up, so I go by the serial numbers and the date that I change it. So I do know that. And then when I take it apart, on the battery, if it's the big battery, I'll use the felt tip Sharpie and I'll put the date that I installed it. So, the month and the year. I don't do the day, I just do the month and the year. So it just gives me an idea. Hello, Matt Moore. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. David Wolcott said, I feel like in some parts of the farm community, we're like hermit crabs, buying a new one and selling an old one, and the one buying from you is also selling theirs. It's like a line of hermit crabs. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of exchanging shells, so to say. Yeah, I mean, that's also in the car community too. It's not just guns; it's the car community. So, a lot of people who trick out cars, they'll buy them, fix them up, get them like they want them. Then somebody wants to buy it, and they'll buy another one, or end up buying it back. I have buddies who have sold the same car twice and then bought it back, the same damn car. So, I mean, all that stuff, happens. 4th of July, yeah. I just find it easier on my birthday, but I could see the 4th of July too. It's like a religious tradition, yeah. Yeah, and I've got, like I said, my dominant ones, I do change a lot. But knock on wood, that Acro Aimpoint 2, that is the original battery. I have not changed it, and I keep it on a pretty bright setting because I do run a light on it as well. So the way that I set up, and people have asked me this, and I guess I've never really talked about it, or maybe I have, but it's been a long time. But what I do is I go into kind of a dark room, whether it be a bathroom or whatever, shut the door, and then I'll take the gun out and I will crank it up to, I'll turn the flashlight on. If it's a 7A or 300, X300 or TLR1 or whatever, I'll turn the flashlight on, and then I'll crank up the intensity of the dot to where I can see it over the flashlight, and then turn the flashlight off, and that's where I leave the dot. So most of mine are set with higher intensity. Then normal people would probably keep it on like halfway or maybe a little more than halfway. Mine's probably 2 clicks under full or maybe 1 click under full, to where it's not going to really go crazy. And that's the way I keep them. So that way, if I'm ever going to kick the light on, the light does not wash out my dot. So, because most stuff's going to happen in the dark. During the day, I'm going to crank it out, especially if it's bright sunlight, then I've got the dot. If I'm in a dark theater or something, then it's just extra bright. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Pistol Pete is saying 1776 is bought and sold like 14 BP9s, yes, and like 6 or 7 PO7s, a couple of PO9s. So yeah, I mean that just happens, I mean, a lot of people do that. Is there a red dot that charges from a plug? David, I haven't seen one. I'm not saying there's not. If anybody makes it, it might be that Viridian or whatever. Viridian might make one, but I haven't seen one. I don't have any experience with it. Do you like Acro versus or I'm sure you mean Acro versus Holosun? I actually like them both. I would. I'm not a military guy. I'm not a special ops guy. I'm not any of that. So I never claimed to be. The only way I look at it is probably for the super, super robustness, I guess if that's what you want to say. I would lean more towards the Acro P2 than a Holosun. However, I've never broken a Holosun, but then again, I don't like throwing my crap on concrete bricks and do stuff like that, so I don't know, but the Acro is like a little tank. So my mic went out. Can y'all hear me? Or am I talking to myself? Matt saying, can y'all hear me? He said his mic went out or something. He thinks my mic went out. Oh. Yeah, Brian, they've had it out for a while. Voodoo is releasing a 27, yeah, water rail where a dot is mounted. Yeah. Matter of fact, Humble Marksman already he's got one. He's got the Voodoo Priest. So yeah, they've had it out for a while. They've had it now. I think they've got the Priest out as the newest model. Yeah, they're nice pistols. Oh, that's happened to me before, Brian or Matt. Matt, I was they had my truck in there doing something on it. I was talking on it, but I couldn't hear, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And the technician was listening to my whole conversation. He's a buddy of mine, though. Okay, loud and clear. Okay. um, yeah, so I didn't get the Steiner. I got another Steiner. I just got to figure out what I want to mount it on. I don't know. I will say this: the Steiner, like I said before, the Steiner, the window's a little bit bigger than the Acro P2. It's very clear. The dot works very well with my astigmatisms. I mean, I really do like that dot a lot. Um, and Steiner makes battle proven stuff. Um, but, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't had any problems with my other one, um, but I haven't battle tested it. So I don't know, but I went ahead and grabbed another one. Yep. High Point. Let's see here. Rock Chalk is asking favorite brand of holster that can be carried strong side and appendix. Ooh, I don't really have. I mean, you're not talking about outside waistband because a lot of the appendix holsters you can move to the 3 o'clock or the 430 or whatever. You can use a wedge, or excuse me, you can use a claw. You can take the claw off. You can move things around. I don't have one that goes from appendix to outside waistband. I don't believe in that. But all of the ones that I have, I can move to a different position. I just prefer the appendix setup that I set them up as. Yeah, Matt, I did hear that I watched that interview as well. And I figured they were coming out with a new one. The rumor is they're going after, since they have the Colt, um, and I kind of knew about this a little bit. Um, since they have the Colt brand name, and now they have Lake Vista, Spear, all that other stuff. In my theory, that's another reason they bought Vista Outdoors. CZ did, because Spear, Gold Dots, a lot of police departments use that as well. That ammo, and I think they're trying to push the CZ P10 Cs and Fs with their newer model to the LE and military. I think is what they're going to do, especially the LE. So that's kind of what I'm predicting. They're saying it's going to be a reface, so it's going to look a little different. I don't know how much different you can make a polymer pistol, but I guess they're going to do something different. I'm very interested in seeing what it is because I love the P10C and the P10F line. So if it's something like earth shattering, I might grab another one. But if it's not earth shattering, if it's just more like putting lipstick on a pig, kind of like what SIG does on a lot of their stuff, I don't see any reason. I will say this: if they change something with the mags to where the mags are not retro over to the old one or the new one, that's going to suck. And a lot of holster compatibility could be an issue. So hopefully they don't change a lot to where you have to go buy new holsters. Because I have a feeling a lot of people that already have P10Cs and P10Fs would grab a new one as long as all those things are compatible. So hopefully they keep it kind of like Glock a little bit when it comes to that. But who knows? We'll see. Yeah, I know. I've said that. If they would kind of revamp the PO7s and the PO9s, maybe make them optic ready, maybe kind of revamp some new things, put a little more, um, kind of like the P10 texturing on them to make them a little more grab friendly. I think a lot of people would buy them, but I just don't think they're going to go that route. And I think having a double action, single action in a polymer setup would be a great opportunity, especially for newer shooters and things like that, because I think the P07 is a completely underrated gun. I think it's a fabulous gun, honestly, but who knows? Oh, I guess I'm asking, what is your favorite Kydex inside waistband holster? Um, Depending on the gun, for like the 2011s right now, it is the Tenacore. That is my favorite right now, and has been for quite a while. I've talked about that. For the P10C with the light bearing, I'm really enjoying the Armsman. I've got a video on it. For my P07, or excuse me, my P10C with the TLR7, and then my P10C and F with the X300. His holsters are really, really nice holsters for the light bearing. If you're not going to carry a light, Harry's holsters is still really awesome holsters. Still, hell, I carried my other P10C in his holster last Saturday and Sunday. Had to go visit somebody, if you know where I'm going. So I did carry the Harry's holster, that P10C in that holster. Hello, Clyde Cumberland. How are you? Yeah, and that's why I say, Pranic, I think since they bought Spear and not Remington, Federal, the whole Vista Outdoors, I think that's what they're going after. And they said it also with the Trail 600 video as well. They were going after the American market because, I mean, we're dominant guns. So, and they sell a lot of CZs here. I'll tell you, I really like the original P10Cs. Both of my P10Cs are the OGs. They are the Gen 1s. And I like the texture on them. They're more aggressive, I think, than the newer ones. Because people are like, oh, they're kind of gritty or whatever, or scratchy. You know. They said micro style. Yeah, I did hear that too. I think they're going to go after the 365, but who knows? And maybe they're designing a mag that holds a ton of rounds, but it's going to be like their S model or something like that. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, A-Dubs, who knows what they're going to do? I even said this when they came out with the DWX. And they used it for Dan Wesson, but I was kind of surprised that they didn't include a Colt model or something, and name it like some kind of a snake, even though it's not a revolver. They've got the Cobra and the Anaconda and all that other stuff. I was thinking that'd be kind of cool to have a Colt snake gun, but it was made by CZ, or Colt CZ with the Colt name. Maybe a video on a few revolvers. Never see those much anymore. Yeah, I mean, I could do revolver videos. I've got a couple of revolvers, but I hope y'all know this about me. I always try to be true to myself, and I'm just not a revolver shooter anymore. But I could show them. I could be like, hey, here they are, but I don't really shoot them. These have a lot of sentimental value. So blah, blah, blah. I could do something like that. Yeah, Pranic, a lot of people have said that, and that could happen. Hell, wouldn't that be crazy if they came out with a small, like SIG 365 that holds a ton of rounds, but it is double action, single action? Maybe that's why they haven't redone the P07 and the P09. That would be actually really cool. I know a ton of people have been asking about that. I know you've been one of them. David, is there a CZ pistol in 10 millimeter? There is a CZ 97B converted that CZ Custom did. I think you can still buy it. It's probably not cheap, but there's not one that they've made stock. That was asked on that interview too, and they said they have a group meeting where they all talk about different calibers. So who knows? That could be coming in the future, but they don't have one yet. I mean, stock. Oh yeah, Brian. There's a lot of them. You got the CZ75 compact, the PO1, the PCR. Yeah, I mean there's a bunch of those. Hit the like. Yeah, hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Well, Matt, and that's kind of what I was thinking. That's kind of what I was thinking why they didn't update the PO1. They discontinued it because they had the Shadow 2 compact come out, which is optic ready. It's kind of, I think, taking its place. But who knows? I mean, you never underestimate. They might pop out something, that we had no idea about. Man, I guess I'm getting some damn buffering all of a sudden. No, I have not seen that one. Did it do well? I would assume it did pretty well because I remember way back when Mac did the PO7, he did a PO7 torture test and he said, "Oh my gosh, it failed, blah, blah, blah." But what he forgot is it's double action, single action. He pulled the trigger and it didn't go bang. And he's like, "Oh, the test is done." He forgot to pull the trigger and he even admitted it later. But I'm like, "Pull the trigger, pull the trigger." He goes, "Oh, the test is done, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "No, no, no. Pull the trigger again. It's double action, single action." I was yelling that at the camera way back in the day when he did that. And he forgot to do it. And then he admitted it. "Oh, crap, I forgot to do it." Let's see here. I think they are, Pistol Pete. I think they're going to go after LE. I think that's what they're going to do. Ooh, Rock Chalk is saying, what would you want CZ to make? Honestly, I would really like to see the PO7 updated. Because that would give you the polymer version, if it was updated right. Like if they were to make a CZ Shadow 2 compact or something like that, but make it optic ready and tricked out so you have an aluminum version and a polymer version, that would be really cool. Oh man, thank you so much, David. Thank you for answering many of my questions from today and previous gun chats. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. If it was CZ's gun, he'd choose off the line. I don't know what you're asking there, Prentice. It was CZ's gun, he'd choose off the line. Oh, yeah, I think he said the P10C. Ooh, that would be kind of cool. BZ58, that would be kind of cool. I think if they came out, let me rephrase that. If they came out with a PO7 polymer version, but could change the grip panels on the side, like screw them in there and put lock grips on it or something, that'd be pretty damn awesome too. Because I could get them super aggressive. I could get them a little thicker. I could get a PO7 with a palm swell. That would be legit. That would be really cool if somebody could do that. And I'm sure they could if they tried. Also, I have a company that I've worked with but y'all won't remember who they are. But I've had a company that I've worked with for quite a while, and I still use their products, but I don't talk about them a lot. But they are sending me a new product. It's been out for a while, but they're sending me a new product to test. I know the owner of the company, and it's a big company. I met the owner of the company, gosh, like 5 years ago. And anyway, they do very well with their products. You've heard me talk about them in the past. I've shown them, done videos on them. But anyway, they're sending me one of their newer products, but it's been out for a while. I was just like, you know what? I haven't tested that product. So I reached out to the owner and he sent me one. So I didn't pay for it. But I reached out to him because I haven't reached out to him in a long time. I wanted to check, see how he was doing. And then I was like, I really want to try this. And he's like, okay, no problem. So he's sending it to me. So I don't want to let it out of the bag yet because I do want to test it and see if I like it, see if it's worth the squeeze before I kind of start talking about it. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, we talked about that on the chat. I think a couple of weeks ago, or I think it was the day they released it. It is better. It's more of a PCC. It just reminds me of the Ruger. I think it's a direct competitor of the Ruger PCC, but this one does have so it can take Glock mags, and I think that was a really good decision. But you know, we'll see what they come out with. Ooh, man, that would be cool. A metal P10 series. Damn, IBG. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Maybe they will. Who knows? That would be kind of cool though. Have like super aggressive grips on it. That'd be awesome. No, no, Matt. It is not Olight. I promise you that it is not Olight. Nope, nope, nope. But that was funny. No, they've reached out to me a few times. I've talked about that. I've gotten emails from them, and they're like, "Hey, we would like you to test this." And I'm like, "Did you forget? I'm the guy that hammered y'all's ass." But no, it's not them. David, I have not. I've actually put my hands on them. I know a lot of people. I think, gosh, Hot Pot has one or maybe two. I mean, there's a lot of people that have them and shoot them and say they're great. I just don't have any experience with them, so I don't really. I've never shot one. I've just put my hands on it at the gun store. Didn't even really rack it or trigger bang it or any of that. So I don't really want to give an opinion on it. I mean, but I'm sure there's plenty of people on here that could stand up for it either way. Rock Chalk, any love for the CZ Scorpion EVO on here? I mean, I've shot them. I owned not the Evo, but I owned a Scorpion and nothing. I mean, it always ran. But I just kind of fell out of love with it. You know, not that it's bad or anything like that. I mean, it's a great little bag gun, or the smaller ones are. But they do run. They've got the block. Kind of ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Um, so when it comes back, it's a little harsher than some AR9s. Um, for recoil, I'm not recoil sensitive, but I'm just saying if you're doing a comparison between them, because you got the big block versus, a smaller BCG type blowing back. But I mean, they're accurate, they run, they can run dirty. I mean, mine was filthy because I purposely did that. Oiled it and then just ran the dog shit out of it to see if I could get it to fail, and I never could get it to fail. It always went bang. Yep, IBG. That's kind of what I was going with. I mean, I've shot uh, 10 gauge shotguns. Those kick like a mule. Um, but I would say as far as the Scorpion, it is a little harsher on recoil than an AR9, but they're both manageable. Hello, Norwood. Long time no see, buddy. I hope you are doing well. And yes, hit that thumbs up and all that other stuff. And if y'all can think of anything that you would like to see, or some things that you're like, hey, I know you have this gun and this gun. Can you compare them again? Or I might have already had videos on them, maybe some I don't. But if there's something else you want to see, even leave it in the chat afterwards. If y'all are needing any kind of lock grips or anything like that, they've been a huge supporter of the channel forever. If you need anything, gun stands, and it'll hold an AR-10 on those freaking stands. Because I've got my big AR-10. It holds it perfectly. I just had it on there, what was it, Sunday? I had the big AR-10, the Lancer L30 heavy metal, and I was doing some tweaking on the light, the flashlight, and some stuff like that. I mounted it up on there, and it held it perfectly level, and I was doing what I needed to do. So if y'all need any of that, you can use my code BJGG10, all caps. That'll save you 10% off anything they sell. They do have some new stuff coming, so be on the lookout for that. And when I get it, I'll test it. But it's going to be a little ways down the road, and that's not what I was talking about earlier. Shield 9mm versus staccato. Okay, he does. I could do that, but and it was funny because on the list that I had, some people were asking, "Hey man, can you shoot your Shield again?" And I was like, "Man, I hadn't shot that thing in forever." And it's not mine aren't optic ready. Mine are the OGs. So I've got the Shield 45 and the Shield 9mm, and those are like the first week they came out. I had pre-ordered them, so I have the Gen 1 Shield 9mm and of course the original Shield 45. They are, they're great guns. I mean, I've never had a problem with them. The only problem I had, and that's one reason I quit recommending them, because I will never recommend them again, were the Hive mag extensions. I even did a test on them where I ran like 1,000 rounds to these Hive +2 extensions. And I told the owner, if you come with a mag extension, you need to come with a new power spring. And he's like, no, we've tested it. We've done thousands of rounds, blah, blah, blah. So they were using the original spring, that came in the mag, even the extended mag, or the 7-round mag or 8-round mag or whatever it was, and just move it over to the +2. And I said, the springs, it's going to wear out. And they said, no, it won't. I said, yeah, it will. The way I shoot and load them and shoot them and load them and shoot them and load them and shoot them, yeah, it's going to extend them and cause them to fail. And I ran 1,000 rounds through them. They worked. And then I kept running them. And then they started failing left and right, just like what I thought. And I took all those, well, not all of them, but I took a bunch of them off, threw them in the freaking trash, put the stock shit back on. I did get one that really does work. And it did come with a power spring, and it's a +5 extension. I've got a video on it way back. It's for the original Shield mags, and that one is legit. I ran a ton of mags through it, and it works, but don't buy those old ones that I was talking about. Brannick said, if I had a staccato, I wouldn't shoot a Shield either. I mean, it is, there could be a time where you need like super deep concealment or something like that, and you want to run a Shield. I get it. They're super thin. They're, small pistols. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They go bang. But it is hard to go, and mine aren't normal Shield triggers either. Both of these are tricked out. And what I did is I took a combination of the Apex springs and the Shield springs, and my Shield 1.0, the trigger is 3 pounds, 7 ounces. And the Shield 45 is it's like 3 pounds, 7 or 8 ounces. I mean, they're both super light, but that's the way I like them. But I wouldn't recommend that to anybody to do that. I just did it. So it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, if you're in bear country, definitely recommend a 10mm, but I don't live in bear country. I mean, some of these human beings I see are bigger than bears. So, might not be a bad idea to have it, but Steak every night. Yep. Anything else, y'all? But the company, like I said, I want to give a hint, but y'all will guess it if I do. I could say this. The products they make help you practice better. I could say that, but y'all probably guess it. Thank you, AA. I appreciate you, buddy. If y'all can't think of anything else, or if you haven't guessed that by now, we'll shut this thing down. Rossi's aren't bad. Their lever guns aren't horrible. They're not as good as some of the originals, but I have buddies who own some Rossi's, and they've had pretty good luck with them. Uncle Dan had a friend of his that had a Rossi, and he had major problems with it and had to send it back. But it is what it is. Dodge Ram, Chevy Silverado, or GMC Denali? For the engine choices currently, I would still go Ram. Depends on the package on the Ram. Depends on the package of the Chevy Silverado. GMC Denali has the premium package. We know that. So over the Chevy Silverado, I would take the GMC Denali. But depending on the Ram package, I'm still a pretty diehard Ram person, but I've had them all. I haven't had a Denali though, but I know all about it. So Big J, I was in Shields yesterday off 121 and looked at ammo. They were stocking some 200 round boxes of 223 for $90. I bought 3, and I don't even really need it. Why did I do that? You're just planning. Not a big deal. You're going to shoot it. So I understand. Not a big deal. You didn't do anything wrong. Good night, Pranic. I appreciate it. Sheila Jackson. No, I didn't see that. Sheila Jackson shooting at her staffer. No, I didn't see that. Yeah, Ram is definitely the cheapest right now. Less expensive, yep, for sure. They do have some pretty good packages and interest rates going right now. So, but nothing surprises me with Sheila Jackson. I remember when she said she can't pick her AR-15 is like what, 10 moving boxes or something. Didn't we hear that line before? But all right, it's about 8:12. We will shut this bad boy down. If y'all think of anything afterwards, throw it in the chat. I'll be glad to answer it for you. If you do need lock grips, use BJGG 10. That will save you 10% off anything that you order there. But also, I've got another product from a company that I really, really like. They're introducing a new product. It'll be launched hopefully soon. And for the guys that like to really load out, that'll give you an idea of what it is. This might be the answer for you. So, yeah, you can get 0% right now. Yeah, but it's only on certain packages. The premiums you kind of can't, but I think the Lariat, they have 0%. I think it was the Laramie, and it was some other one. But anyway, there's going to be more of that coming. Just be prepared. They're going to be dropping. I mean, everybody, because a lot of trucks are just sitting, and they're going to be having birthdays if they don't get rid of them before the new year. So, but some dealers are trying to hang on to them because they don't know how long this strike is going to go either. So, who knows? But we'll see. This is the last year for the Hemi, I believe. I think this is the last year. They're going to the V6. It's that new engine. Matter of fact, the TRX is not going to have the 6.1 anymore. It's going to be the V6 twin turbo, but they're going to have 3 versions of it. So think one of them, they're pulling like 600 and something horsepower out of a V6. But man, if you really stress that thing out, it could let loose. Who knows? But I think they're stopping it this year. I think it's the last year for it. So why is the Ford Mustang? Oh, are they close to a deal? I haven't heard yet, Brian. Yeah, I mean, and maybe it might happen, but man, they're asking for the moon. So, but anyway, all right, we will shut this down. 8:15. Y'all have a great night. Love one another. Pray for everyone. Hope your families are well. Really pushing for my dad. So we will see how this goes, and I will try to get some more, shooting / videos out. Just been busy with him on the weekend, so when I get home from traveling, Saturdays and Sundays are usually trying to see him at the hospital and stuff. So we will press on, and I appreciate y'all so much. Remember, a unarmed nation is a very weak nation, so we all got to carry on. Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a great night. Take care.